buddy. I'm gonna go through some of the NBA. So we had Chicago today over Washington. Colin Sexton with 27. Miller with 26. Yo, Don, what's going on? You think Cooper Flagg should be Rookie of the Year? I can't be mad at that take. I mean, let's look at it. He's had 42 against Utah, 49 against Charlotte against his buddy, 51 against Orlando. Right. And he's averaged. Let's look at his average. I believe he's averaging 21 points a game, right? So can't be mad at what he's done this year. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's done a really good job. I think part of it too though is and this is not a shot, so I don't want like his any of his people or his mom or anything to get upset because I know his mom is upset with some of the storylines. But I do think I all right, I'll go to Kon Knueppel here. Um I think kind of like the difference. He surpassed your expectations. Yeah, I think Kon Knueppel, he's averaged 18. I mean, this team is, is in they're in like the play-in conversation here, right? Kon Knueppel has the most threes ever by a rookie. 261 threes. Right? So, I mean, both of them have had a really good year. He looks like a future superstar. Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of people are saying. Like Cooper Flagg looks like, he should be on the next Olympic team. I think I think and this is not necessarily like a comparison. I think they're a little bit different in that what makes Cooper Flagg was definitely in a different situation. Some people are saying like um, if you switch the teams, Kon Knueppel might not be able to do the same thing. I don't know if that's true because Kon Knueppel is, he has LaMelo Ball, he has Brandon Miller, he has Miles Bridges, so he's getting more open opportunities, which I think is a fair thing to say. I also do think that I also do think that on the flip side, Cooper Flagg doesn't have as much offensive firepower around him. So you see him taking 30 shots in these games, right? In the games where he's scored 40 or more, he's taken close to 30 shots in those games. And there's no really other rookies that have the opportunities to shoot at the rate that Cooper Flagg is shooting, right? Even a guy like Trey Johnson in Washington, he's not taking 30 shots. I agree with that 100%. Guys are taking way more threes nowadays than they were when Steph Curry and all those guys came into the league 10 plus years ago. You know, 2009, I believe. So the game has definitely changed. So I agree with that 100%. The reason why I respect the reason why I think it's going to go to Cooper Flagg is because Cooper Flagg is the guy. Him and Wemby are the guys that I believe the league is trying to build around. I think the league is trying to build around Cooper Flagg and Wemby. So the fact that, it just makes the career story arc a little bit better when Cooper Flagg wins Rookie of the Year. I just think it's just important for his career, you know? And I think that's why they gave him that opportunity to go off, because he has what, a 40-point game, a 50-point game back to back, right? And you saw the amount of shots that he was taking. So there was clearly a push to get him that Rookie of the Year, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. What I don't know if the league is necessarily trying to build around Kon Knueppel. So if you can't really build around him, it'll be tough to give him that Rookie of the Year. That's just being honest. As good of a player as Kon Knueppel is, I just think it's going to be difficult for you to be able to justify it, especially with Cooper doing what Cooper Flagg did. My other thing is, but what I do like about Kon Knueppel is his ability to bring professionalism, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's nobody that he doesn't really have the offensive firepower around him to be able to, he doesn't really have a lot of other scorers on his team, so he kind of has to. But I have not seen that work well long term though. When I've seen guys who played like that, Antoine Walker, Allen Iverson, what I see, like Allen Iverson had like a similar type of rookie year where he went like on a streak of 40-point games and things like that, right? But generally, when you come into the league gunning like that, it doesn't bode well for your career long term. Like a guy like Kobe had to learn how to win. He wasn't able to gun just like take 30, 40 shots in a game. And he was able to learn how to be a champion and win 5 rings. Whereas, Iverson with those, um, see, for me, when Luca came in, the NBA felt easy for Luca. You know what I mean? Like when he came in, it just seemed like because I had seen Luca when he was playing with Real Madrid, And I feel like playing overseas, it was a little bit more like the NBA has so much more spacing, and because of the way, um, right, 21, 7, and 6, right? So like the way Mark Cuban allowed him to really like he gave him the keys. So I feel like it was easier coming in. But better year, I imagine Dallas was a little bit better of a record though, right? Um, Dallas Mavs. Yeah, 33 and 49. So I think they were a little bit better. But yeah, overall, I think Cooper Flagg did have a good rookie year. I listen, I didn't think the NBA would allow him to not be good. You know, him and Wemby are supposed to save the NBA or so I believe that he would be good. But yeah, but as far as Kon Knueppel, I just really like the way I just like his leadership. I like his professionalism. I think he brought another level of accountability. Like he plays the game the right way, and I feel like as a leader, he brought Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball. Man, I think Luca is like a unique. He's a unique player. Um, man, it's gonna be tough. Like it's gonna be tough. Like he's gonna really need a really good team around him. You know what I mean? I think because Luca's so gifted, he could do more with less. He could do more with less great players around him. But it's a good question. But I think the main thing is probably just gonna come down to like if Cooper Flag or Wembenyama is gonna take over the league, is can they win titles? You know, and if they put the right team around Cooper Flag, it's possible they could win titles. But he's gonna need a lot of great players. Cause is he a number one guy like that's gonna be able to win a title for you? I think it depends on how he develops as a playmaker. Because I think what makes Luca so dangerous is as great of a scorer as he is, he's equally as great of a playmaker. His defense is a problem. His defense is a problem, and obviously that's not the same issue for Cooper Flag. But ultimately, the one thing I think Cooper Flag has on his side is, I think he's a disciplined human being who's a decent leader. You know what I mean? I don't think leadership is Luca's best attribute, but I do think he's such a dominant offensive player that he can get away with it. Same challenge that I think Kevin Durant has had in the league. You know what I mean? Kevin Durant is a great individual player, but I feel like a lot of people have struggled see to to look at why his teams maybe haven't achieved as much as they expected. And I just don't think leadership is Kevin Durant's best attribute. But as an individual player, Luca, uh, honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's his strength. You know what I mean? Like the challenge. I'm not saying that he's a great player. To be honest, the reason why I think they made it to that finals, like as great as he was, I think it was Kyrie Irving, like really playing defense. Like Kyrie wasn't great in the finals, but his defense throughout the play—that's the best defense Kyrie's ever played. And Luca, you can expect the offensive explosion, but without defense, it just doesn't really work in the playoffs. To be honest, and not to say that his defense was terrible in the playoffs, because I think it was probably decent. Like it was decent. It's just I've never really seen point guards who don't play defense and their teams win. You know, Allen Iverson wasn't a great defender, never won a title. Steve Nash was not a great defender, never won a title. I don't even think Kyrie's a great leader, though, to be honest with you. And that's not even a knock on Kyrie. I just don't think that. I don't think that's either of their strengths. You know what I mean? And they're like Luca's a spectacular player. It's just I do think there's a difference between getting to a finals and winning a title. Because Allen Iverson got to a finals too, right? But they got smashed by the Lakers. And the same thing, like Luca got to the finals, but they got smashed by Boston. You know what I mean? I do think there is a bit of a difference, but you think Kyrie has improved as a leader? That's respectable. I can respect that. I can respect that. Like since his time at Boston, you feel like he matured a little bit, and since his time in Cleveland, probably. Yeah, I mean, I think the two. Yeah, you think so? Yeah, I think the best are Dame and Steph. I think those are probably the two best. I think that old school type, like the tyrant, like the Kobe, the Michael Jordan, just like bang on your head, like type stuff. I feel like that we don't need that. That's not necessarily needed anymore, and it's a little bit tougher because I don't think people are as thick skinned as they were back in the day. But I don't think it was the best way to do it even back then. But yeah, I think Dame's a great leader too. I just think, man, Kyrie was crazy in Brooklyn. I mean, I remember his last season in Brooklyn where the dude was like, he had like the most dunks he's ever had in his career in his last season in Brooklyn. But nah, like Kyrie's a special player, man. Like he's a special player. I think also the same thing I said about Iverson and Dame and all those guys. Like the defense, the defense was a struggle. I mean, Steph Curry was never like the greatest defender, but I feel like we saw him step up on defense the last season where they won the title. That last season, I feel like his defense was actually pretty good. He bulked up a little bit. He was playing better defense. And I feel like he had the defensive principles because of what Mark Jackson kind of implemented, though. But at the end of the day, like all those guys are great players. I think Luca is one of the most gifted offensive players the game has ever seen. Like I think the Lakers are in trouble without him and Austin Reeves, but like Luca's he's gifted, man. Like think about it. Like people always say he's never in shape. If you're never in shape and you could lead a team to the NBA Finals, then you got to be a pretty good basketball player. You know what I mean? To like lead a team to an NBA Finals out of shape. Luca's he's one of one, man. He's one of one. I mean, the amount of all NBA first teams that guy has made, and I think, unfortunately, yeah, I feel like they were kind of built in a good way for Kyrie and Luca to be able to dominate. You know what I mean? I think part of the issue for Luca is I feel like he doesn't get the respect in terms of the MVP voting as that he should. And maybe I think JJ Redick had a point. Yeah, he came up one game short. Yeah, that's terrible. I think I think Anthony Edwards, like he played in the last game that he needed to. You know what I mean? He probably wasn't healthy. I mean, he didn't play well. He shot like 4 for like 15 or something. Like he shot the ball really poorly. So I imagine he wasn't healthy at all. But he did enough to be able to just be eligible for the award. And I think it's important to be eligible for those awards because all the little contract activations and things like that. You know what I mean? I don't know all the specifics, but you know what I mean. I know I imagine that all those guys have extra incentives in their contracts for making all NBA, this and that. You know, I wonder if Luca could have just like he could have just checked in the game, just played like 5 minutes, and then checked back out. But I feel like he has been doing that though. I feel like he's been putting up those numbers for a while, and he still doesn't get enough credit for his MVP. But I feel like part of it is like his complaining. You know what I mean? Like his complaining to the refs. I don't know if he's that liked a dude. And I feel like a lot of times if the storyline behind you isn't good, you don't get those opportunities because I believe, part of it is a media opportunity. Like look at a guy like Dwight Howard, right? He doesn't make the all 75 team. Oh yeah. I feel like people are becoming immune to a lot of numbers. And to be fair, like some of these numbers are inflated. Like some of these scoring numbers are definitely inflated. Like the amount of guys that are getting 70 points, 80 points, 60 points, the amount of guys averaging 30 points. You know what I mean? Like 10 years ago, you didn't see that many guys averaging 20 points per game in a season at the level that it is now. It's just like unless they make some defensive rule changes, I do think some of these numbers are a little bit inflated. But even if they're inflated, like I don't think it takes away from what a guy like Luca is doing though. But some of these other guys probably wouldn't average 30 in a different era, if I'm being honest. I feel like even Jokic, right? Jokic's numbers are incredible, but people kind of don't even care at this point. He's first in the NBA in rebounding. He's first in the NBA in assists. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Westbrook was guaranteed. 10 years ago, that was unbelievable. Now, it doesn't even do anything to people. People are like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Does nothing. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter anymore. It's just like, but at the end of the day, like I feel like it goes back to kind of what I was saying before. Like all these guys could put up all the numbers they want. If you don't win titles, and that's the thing with Wemby, thing with Cooper Flag. If you don't win titles, I don't think it really matters that much. As great as Charles Barkley was, as great as Reggie Miller was. Yeah, exactly. Westbrook with the lower shooting percentages. It's interesting though. Like I feel like Westbrook has been shooting the three ball better this year than he has in previous years. But Giannis, man, I don't know, man. It's tough because like to be honest, like if we actually look at Giannis's career, like if we look at him in the playoffs, he doesn't play that. Like he hasn't had that many healthy playoffs. You know what I mean? Like if we look at Giannis in the playoffs, he wasn't healthy a lot. Like if we just look at his like if we look at like what he's done in the playoffs, it's just hasn't you know what I mean? Like hasn't been healthy. Like his playoff like look at his playoff runs. They're not that many. It was really that one season this 2019 and this one like a lot of other seasons he just honestly hasn't been healthy. Like yeah, I mean I was just about to bring up Joel Embiid. Giannis is basically, if we're gonna be honest, Giannis has been the same as Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has never been healthy really in the playoffs, and Giannis has never really been healthy in the playoffs. So my thing is, if you're a team that's gonna gut your roster, can you gut your roster for Giannis and him not be healthy in the playoffs? Because even if we look at it right now, like let's just look at it right now. Like Giannis has played 67 games, which is like, I mean, it's not. Wait, no, no, no. That was last year. I think he's played the least amount of games he's played in his career this year. How many games did Giannis play this year? I think he's played less than that. I think he's only played like 50 something games this year. This is like the lowest he's ever played in his career. So it's like I think it's I would hate to say he's slowing down because his numbers are still good, but I think the injuries might be. I would hate to say it though. He's played like 40, right? So it's like if he's played like 40 games, it's tough. It's tough to gut your roster for a dude who's played 40 games. Especially if you're the Knicks. 36 games. That's not a lot. 36 games is not a lot. So if I'm the Knicks, I gut my roster, get Giannis, and it's gonna be Giannis and Jalen Brunson. Like, is Giannis and Jalen Brunson better than what they have now? You know what I mean? Yeah, but that was basically my thoughts. Um yeah, just basically Cooper and 65. Yeah, I imagine they might change it though. You think they should change it, right? I mean, you don't like I get why they have it cuz you kind of want to incentivize guys to play. You know what I mean? Cuz like if everybody's just sitting out games whenever they want to, if guys are just sitting out whenever they have a headache, it's not fair to the fans, and it's not good for money. You know what I mean? But it's like, man, if you know what I mean? Like Wemby might make it, but he's got to be super careful to get enough games. A guy like Luca. Luca himself is he's missing out on all NBA first team. You know, you still like it. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. I see what you're saying. It makes sense. It makes sense. It's tough. It's tough when a guy who's obviously played some of the best basketball in the league is not getting the opportunities. Let me see some of the scores, and then I'll let everybody. Chicago won tonight over Washington. Will Riley has been playing well at the end of the year. 23 points. Uh, you got the Lakers Warriors. I don't know if you're gonna. Well, nah. Well, you're probably not gonna watch that. Houston's up. 107-94. The Knicks just beat the Celtics 112 to 106. Toronto beat the Miami Heat 128 to 114. Yeah, and the Pacers beat the Nets 123 to 94. Pacers are going to get themselves a nice little draft pick. And yeah, that's kind of all I got for today. Yeah, so Luca, Cade, and Ant have to make sure they participate. Play those back to backs, right? It's true though. It's true though. Like if you think about it, like they do got to be able to play more often, right? No skipping back to backs. Yeah, and you know there's certain dudes in the league that love to skip those back to backs. Like honestly, like unless you're in a situation like Joel Embiid, where like you're really hobbled in that way. Like Joel Embiid, like even though he's played pretty well this year, he doesn't look good. Like he doesn't look healthy, but he's just I feel like he's just such a good player that even unhealthy is still he's still great. But yeah, yeah, guys gotta guys gotta play more games, right? But yeah, that's so I got I'll try to come back tomorrow. God willing, we'll see what we got on the docket for tomorrow. Appreciate Yeah, I mean honestly, like yeah, he's playing hard. Hey, stay blessed, man. God bless in Jesus' name. Appreciate everybody for hopping on. This was one of the yeah, better more highly viewed ones in a while. So appreciate everybody for coming on. Obviously J Pop, appreciate you, man. Never take that for granted. You coming here and spending some time. Signing off, y'all.